Okay, so welcome. Today we start a new chapter, chapter 3, about the PASEP model and the associated tableau. So we are in chapter 3A, tableau for the PASEP and quadratic algebra. So I already said this last time, but for people who follow only the video, maybe they jump by random on one of the videos. So for the video follower on YouTube or on the website of the Institute, so you can get the slides and also you can go back and forth inside the video on these two websites. So one is in North America. This website is in Montreal for American people and European people, and this website is in India for all people in Asia and Japan, China, India, everybody. And in fact, once you go to this website, then you just have, this is the website, the new website, and you just have to click on this, the bijective combinatorics course, and then you have part 1, part 2 have been done in the previous 2 years, and this year we are in part 3, and then you can click and go everywhere, and then you have a complete detail of all the lecture, and in the blue, if you click, then you go to the precise position in the video. Part 4 will be probably next year about quadratic theory of an orthogonal polynomial, and part 1 and 2 was done here in IMSC, and if you click on this, then you go to the old website, which is in transition to, I will put everything on the same website, and then you can again the same principle to have all the video and the slides, and if you click on the slide, you get everything. And okay, then you can go back and forth to the news website, the old website, etc. So let's start. This was for the video follower in YouTube or in other, and who jump by random on this one of these videos. So today we will start the PASEP, chapter 3. This is my main second example of the philosophy of the cellular ansatz after the RSK and all the bijection related to RSK. So I define the PASEP. I already defined it in a few lectures before, but I just repeat what I have said. It's the PASEP is a partially asymmetric exclusion process, or sometimes physicists call this ASEP. They drop the P, and the T is for totally asymmetric exclusion process. So the general PASEP is with 5 parameters: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and Q. And the physics model is you have a strip, finite strip of a cell, of box. There's n cell, and in this cell, maybe the cell is empty, or maybe there is one particle. Exclusion means that there is at most one particle in each cell. No two particles in the same cell. But there is many extensions of this PASEP with 2 kinds of particles. One kind of particle has priority, can jump on another particle, or etc., etc. But for the moment, we will work with the ordinary PASEP with one kind of particle, an exclusion process. So the definition is the following. There is a discrete part and a continuous part, but at the limit, the stationary probability are the same, but the discrete part is the following. So there is n cell, there is n plus 1 vertical edges like this, which is a separation between a cell and maybe the outside world. So there is n plus 1 different separation. You choose by random one of them with probability 1 over n plus 1. And then if you can do a movement of the particle, you do it. And you can check easily that you cannot do 2 different movements at the same time. For example, if I choose this wall, I cannot do anything. So you do nothing, and then you will repeat the process. If I choose this wall here, then it's possible to move the particle to the right. And you do this with probability 1. If I was choosing by random this wall here, So you should move the particle back with probability Q. So you may wonder why you 1 and Q. It's because of course, you can make symmetric parameter Q and T, but this is a normalization to put 1 in one side and Q in the other side. Now, if by random you chose the first wall here, then you suppose that at the left there is an infinite number of particles. So each particle is waiting to get inside the strip. So if there is nobody here, then you get a particle inside with probability alpha. And if there is a particle on the first box, then this particle will go away with probability gamma. And you do this analog if at the left, at the right of the strip, at the last box, if you have chosen by random this wall, and if there is a particle inside, then the particle will go outside with probability beta. If there is nobody inside, then you will get a particle inside with probability delta. And the physics problem is they want to compute, in particular, this is important in physics and probability, what is called the stationary probability of this, which means intuitively, after a very long time, what is the probability to get one possible state? The state is the word you get by reading this strip from left to right. So the number of states is 2 power n. In each cell, there is 2 possibilities to put a particle. So if you give me, for example, the empty strip, or if the strip is full, or all the particles are on the left, or if they are completely mixed. So what is the probability to get such a state after infinite, a very long time? So this model has been, there is hundreds of papers in physics. It's a toy model. It was beginning in molecular biology as a modelization of molecular diffusion or linear array or enzyme, biopolymer, etc. So there is many papers in biology where they use this model. And so this was the first time they were interested in, to my knowledge, to stationary probability. And then also it's modelized traffic flow. I read in some paper by physicists that in Geneva, the traffic flow is also, it's much more complicated with the crossing, the road, everything, but the modelization is referred to this simple modelization of only one strip, so one road, and a car can go back and forth. Of course, if you're in highway and Q is non-zero, then you have a problem. So in Europe, Q equals 0, but in India, Q can be it's fit with the model with Q, formation of shocks. It's so there is many modelization. So the interest in this model is because it's even with the 5 parameters, it can be completely solved in the sense of a physicist. So which means that you have a complete solution of, for example, the stationary probability. You have explicit expression. But if the model was more complicated, then you cannot solve it. But it's enough complicated to have interesting things in physics, not too much complicated to solve it, and enough interesting to get some phase transition. So this is in the statistical mechanics. It's very important. Phase transition when water is boiling or the ice, etc. A phase transition when you have certain system like the 6-vertex model, or where you know the local rule, the local rewriting of the quadratic algebra, and then you have some boundary condition, and then there is a transition, means that the partition function, there is a function associated to all this, and then the partition function will get a singularity somewhere. So something, singularity means a phase transition in the physics model. So I explained the phase transition. So I explained what is a stationary probability, explicit definition. So Markov chain is a very classical subject, but if you don't know this subject, I just remind you a few elementary and fundamental things. So Markov chain, we are with a Markov chain. There is 2 power n states, possible states. So in general, you have a Markov chain on the graph. So the vertices of the graph, and there is some transition. There is the vertices are the set of states, and you can go from one state to another state by your green edges, and from the state U to the state V, then you can go with a certain probability, which depends on the edges. It depends on the starting point and ending point. So here my graph is a graph with 2 power n vertices, And from one of these configuration to another, there is an edges or maybe no edges. So, and there is, so P u v is the probability to go from U to V. So you have the Markov chain is associated with a matrix, the transition matrix, or it's a stochastic matrix, which means that all the value on the same row are, the sum is equal to 1. It's probability. And then if you are at time t, so you have a certain vector, at time t all the probability, each state, you have a start, it depends on the starting state. You start with a certain state, and then after time t, you have a certain probability for each of the vertex of the graph. And then there is a transition. When you go to time t plus 1, then the probability to be in the state v after t plus 1 is a sum of all the probability to be in the state u at time t multiplied by the probability to go from u to v. So you see this picture, the probability to be here is a sum of for all these states u, where you can go from u to v, all the probability of u multiplied by the probability of the edges. So this is a transition matrix. So you see from time t to time t plus 1. And if the time become very big, infinite, you get the stationary probability, which means that at time t plus 1, the vector of probability should be the same as the vector at time t. So what means to be the same? The stationary probability, it means that it's a certain set of probability intuitively at time infinite time, such that if you go one transition, then it will get back the same system of probability for each vertices. So this is a definition of stationary probability. It's in fact the eigenvector for this matrix V, for this matrix. And T, this is transpose of T, this is a row vector. So you have to find the eigenvector of V with eigenvalue equal to 1. So in general, this exists. And for the PASEP model, there is a unique eigenvector, there is a unique set of stationary probability, a unique set of probability which satisfies this system of equation. This is a characterization of stationary probability. So let's do it. Usually in this class, I will work with the PASEP with 3 parameters. The combinatorics is beautiful, and combinatorics of permutation, and it's with beautiful bijection, beautiful interpretation. So with 5 parameters, it's more complicated, but the 5-parameter combinatorics has been obtained by extending the combinatorics with 3 parameters. So this will be, we will restrict ourselves mainly in chapter 3 with only 3 parameters, gamma, alpha, beta. So gamma and, Q, alpha, and beta. So 3 parameters means gamma equal delta equals 0. So particle, they enter to the left inside the strip, they go outside by the right, and they can move inside the strip, but they can only enter by the left and get out by the right. This is the PASEP with 3 parameters. We will also study the PASEP with Q equals 0. This is called the TASEP, totally asymmetric exclusion process. And then you have 2 parameters only. Alpha, the parameter to get inside, and beta, the parameter to get outside. So I give you an example of stationary probability with Q equals 0, gamma delta equals 0, alpha equal beta equal 1. So there is no parameters. And the example is with 3 cells. So the number of states, here is all possible states. There is 8 different states. And I put the stationary probability, which you see it's 1 over 14, 3 over 14, 2 over 14, etc. So this is a unique system of probability for each state, which satisfies this equation. So I show you an example of why it satisfies for each. So you take any, for example, this one. This one has probability 2 over 14. So let's check that it really satisfies the equation defining stationary probability. So this state, you can get this state from this one. See, when this particle can move to the right, you get this. You can get this one from this. Because if you are here and you choose this wall, then particle can get in, and you get this. And you can get also the same. You can, if you choose this wall here, no particle can get in, so you get back the So this is important also. You chose this by random and you can do nothing. So this state can be obtained from the same state with two different ways. Also, you can get it from this way because you cannot move this. No, it's you are going. I am going to reverse time. So how I can get this one from another configuration? So if I do this configuration, I cannot get back. If I choose this wall, then I cannot obtain this configuration by choosing this wall. So as you see in green, there is 4 edges arriving at this state. And in black, there is 2 black edges which go to other states. So let's check that it satisfies this equation. So the probability, you have to take the sum of the 4 probabilities, this one, which is 2 over 14, 2 over 14, and 1 over 14. So you take the sum of all this green probability, each probability of each state, multiplied by the probability, the transition probability. And transition probability is 1 over 4 because you choose, each time you choose one of the wall with probability, uniform probability, 1 over 4. So this is the total probability, each 4 possible state with the transition probability. So you have to sum all this. Here I put twice 2 over 14 because I get it, there is 2 loops here. So this is equal to this, which is equal to 8 over 14 multiplied by 1 over 4, which give back 2 over 14. So you can check this for all the 8 possible states, and you see that is really a system of stationary probability. It satisfies the system equation. This is a unique solution. I will not prove it's a unique solution, but you can imagine you have to find all these probabilities. There is only one system of probability. Here there is only one system which satisfy this equation. We have checked for one of the states. And even in this TASEP, with only 2 parameters, there is some phase transition. So I explain you intuitively what is phase transition in that particular case with alpha and beta parameters. So if you go for a very long time with a big strip, big strip, maybe I will show you example with only 100 cells, and after a long time, you will see you will go asymptotically to a certain distribution which is given by this, and this. So see, there is 3 regimes, they call this regime. So regime 1, regime 2, regime 3. And the border between the 3 regimes is phase transition. And what is a phase transition? So you can get, in a big strip, take the average occupation. So take a cell in the middle of the strip, deep inside, and don't take the first one or last one, it's different. But if you take a cell deep inside the strip, so in the middle, if the strip is 100 cells or 1,000, take a cell in the middle, and you can take what is the probability that the cell is 0 or 1, the average occupation. So this says that asymptotically, for a very big time, this parameter is going to be, to tend to this, it's going to be almost equal to this, but it's infinite time is really equal. So in regime 1, the average occupation is 1 over 2. So half, which means that the probability to get a particle in the middle of the strip is 1 over 2. And you have regime 2 and 3, then the probability depends on the alpha and beta. So here you have rho equal alpha in regime 2, and here you have rho equal 1 minus beta in regime 3. And when you cross, so if you change the parameters, and when you cross the line, then suddenly, you see, when you cross the line, suddenly there is a phase transition. Suddenly this parameter rho is going to change, have a dramatic change, and I illustrate it by this picture. So here we are with a strip with 100 cells, and I'm taking the average occupation numbers in the middle of the strip, and here beta equal 0.2. So this is the value of beta. You fix beta, 0.2, and you start to increase alpha. So I am in this diagram, I am here, 0.2. And this diagram what is the behavior of rho when you increase alpha? So when So when alpha touch the red line, so means when alpha equals 0.2, then there is a phase transition. So here you see it. So here, when you increase alpha, so rho is going to be, it's written here, rho is alpha. So you have this line, which is supposed to be the diagonal, because here I am, this is not the square, this is 1, and this line go to 1/2. So if you put 1/2 here, you have this line here. So when you increase alpha, see, you have a straight line, and suddenly when you are close to 0.2, which is the value of beta, then suddenly you jump to the second regime, which is where rho becomes 1 minus beta. So rho becomes 1.8, and it stays 1.8. And you see there is a sudden change here. So this is a phase transition. Suddenly, the average rate, which was small, become completely bigger. You can feel this when you go in highway, when the car, the maximum, when you put the maximum car in a highway, so the speed is fast, you go fast, 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 and then suddenly, if too much car are getting in the highway, then suddenly the speed decreases dramatically. So there is a phase transition when you drive in France, because everybody follow the behavior and go straight, and suddenly I can feel this phase transition in traffic in highway. So you say this is not, because we are not in the infinite time. So the transition, there is a certain transition. You jump, but if at the limit, then this will be a vertical line. You will jump suddenly from this to this. So the longer you take the strip, the more time you take, and then this will be more and more vertical, and this is a phase transition. So this was an intuitive introduction to phase transition in physics. You see, and with the TASEP, even the TASEP with only 2 parameters, you have this regime. So we will, there will be combinatorics proof of this. So combinatorics became to be interested in this PASEP-TASEP about 30 years ago. In fact, with the Q 15 years ago. There was many physics papers, and then suddenly we realized that there was a beautiful combinatorics explanation. All this, there was very beautiful combinatorics. And so I explain you now there is hundreds of papers in combinatorics. In the last 15 years, there is many 50 or 100 papers, many papers are related to. So it's very beautiful combinatorics. This is the combinatorics again of n factorial and Catalan number. So this is classical combinatorics. So this open a new garden in the garden of n factorial and Catalan numbers. So the first paper was historical paper was by Shapiro and Zalberger in '82. This is a forgotten paper by combinatorists. Is in the case, so in the case of the TASEP, with Q equals 0 and alpha and beta equal 1, so the TASEP we have seen with the 3/14, 2/14, 1/14. So this was a problem posed by biologists. They make some experiment for the stationary probability, and they found some ratio at the last cell. The ratio was 4, and in fact, there is a Catalan numbers behind, and the ratio of 2 consecutive Catalan number is 4, and so the 4 at the limit, asymptotic. So the 1/4 was appearing as from probability for the ratio of probability for the last cell, and then Zalberger probably gets the intuition that Catalan number was involved in this, so he guessed that the stationary probability for this state can be defined in the following way. You can define completely combinatorially. So this is a word in full particle or empty box. So you transform this word into a path. You go north if there is a particle in the cell. You read the strip from left to right. You go north if there is a particle. You go east if there is no particle. So north. So this state corresponds to this path. Okay, so you translate the... Physicists usually, they write the state as tau 1, tau 2, tau n, and tau I is 0 or 1. And then Shapiro Zalberger said that the stationary probability for this strip is equal, exactly, you take all the blue paths, so you take all the paths starting from the same point, ending at the same point, all the blue paths which are below the green paths defined by the state. So we take all such a pair, And it is well known that the total number of such pair is a Catalan number. I will explain chapter 4 about the Catalan garden and the TASEP, everything. So just admit that the total number of pair is a Catalan number C n plus 1. So if you want a probability, you have to divide by 1 over Catalan number. This is very nice historical paper. You get an interpretation of the stationary probability in terms of pair of paths. One of the paths is fixed. So in terms of Ferrer diagram, is all the Ferrer diagram which are inside a fixed Ferrer diagram. So in the Hughes lattice, you fix a Ferrer and all the Ferrer which are below in the Hughes lattice. And so you have the Catalan number appearing, and you can check now easily that this is the distribution of pair of paths, and the 14 is a Catalan number which appear. So this is so we will prove this in the class, to complete proof of this formula. And even there is an extension with a 2-parameter alpha beta. You can put the 2 parameter on the pair of paths, and you get some beautiful formula.
Tn of S is the state, the stationary probability at state S.
Yes, for us, you give S. The state S is this. It's a word it's one of the 2 power n words. And to this, the state is this. You transform the state into a path. It's equivalent, it's just a word with 2 letters. And then, so you can define the total number of paths below this one. And this gives you exactly the stationary probability for the TASEP. So the proof of Shapiro-Zellberger, they get this, and they prove by recurrence that it satisfies the equation of the big equation at the beginning defining the eigenvector. So you have to guess, and then there is a recurrence proof. You just check that. So, but we will go in this with this on that to have a natural proof. Not check this, but this will become very natural. For example, if it's very easy to count paths below. If you give me this state, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, this is the notation of physicists. It's occupy, empty, occupy, empty, empty. Then you get this path above. And how many paths are below this path? So you just, there is a very easy recurrence relation. If you know the number of paths which reach this point, number of paths reaching this point, then you know the number of paths reaching this point. Number of paths reaching this point, it's number of paths reaching this plus number of paths reaching this. So this very easy recurrence relation, 1 and 1, 2, 1 and 2, 3, 1 and 3, 4, 2 and 3, 5, 5 and 4, 9. And so you get immediately the stationary probability is 9 divided by the Catalan number index 6. But we will see that, in fact, there is a nice formula for the number of such paths, which is given by a McMahon determinant. It's a determinant. So we will see this in chapter 4. The explicit formula, but this is a very quick way to compute the stationary probability.
But Catalan number is all the paths which are above the...
Catalan number is the total number of pair of paths.
Oh, total number of pairs.
Yes. Total number of pair of paths.
Take it like this and then
we will see. We will see. I will give you the bijection in the class and total number of pair of paths. And
so there are 2 paths like this. One path and the path below it. You flip it like this.
Oh no, it's not this. Not flip. No, no. You have. I will show you 2 different bijections.
No, that gives
A flip is if you just flip.
No,
you get a big path.
No.
Big path of double.
No, there is 2 different bijections to go to Dick path. You have to take the 2 paths. You just take a little y, and then you can read this diagonally. You take a 2-column Hodgkin path, or else you can read it by column, and you take a Dick path by some. No, it's a nice algorithm. It's not so easy. There is 2 different algorithms. I show them in the Catalan garden in the course of 2 years ago. In part 1, you get the 2 bijections, but I will repeat them, these 2 bijections. I will need these 2 bijections when we will work with Catalan alternative tableau. No, it's not just a flip. It's not so easy. But it's 2 classical, I consider 2 classical bijections, which were in the Catalan garden in part 1 of this course, in chapter 2. So after these papers, it was forgotten maybe that there was beautiful combinatorics. Then there was many papers by physicists, and then beginning in about 15 years ago, maybe in 2004, 5, so 15 years ago, then the combinatorics began to be interested in all this, and there is a tremendous amount of papers. Many, sorry for the people, I have not put the name here, but there is tremendous number of papers for the interpretation of the stationary probability of the PASEP, for the TASEP. So we will survey some of these papers in the philosophy of the cellular ansatz. So chapter 3 will be about the PASEP, and chapter 4, the special case of Catalan numbers and the TASEP. And in physics, there is also a seminal papers by Derrida, and we will see the seminal paper and the matrix ansatz. So all this, there is deep combinatorics behind this. This combinatorics is related to the combinatorics of orthogonal polynomial. So there is deep connection between PASEP and orthogonal polynomial. So the solution of the physics in the physics paper was given by introducing some relation between strong relation between the orthogonal polynomial like the Q-Hermite or even the Askey-Wilson polynomial. So this is the solution of the physics paper with stationary probability is based on this connection with orthogonal polynomial. So for the 3 parameters PASEP, alpha, beta, Q, then it's related to the Q-Hermite polynomial. It's a Q analog of the Hermite polynomial. And this is a...
Gamma delta should be 0.
0, yes, 0. Good. It's each time there is a mistake, then somebody in the classroom immediately see it's good for me to improve the slide. And this is in quantum mechanics annihilator, and there is a relation between this operator and here the final step was to get a complete solution of the transition matrix with 5 parameters, and complete solution is based on this beautiful polynomial, the Askey-Wilson polynomial. So in fact, this was going back to combinatorics, because in combinatorics, since 30 years, we are doing the combinatorial theory of a classical theory of orthogonal polynomial. The combinatorial theories reach this level. So you see all these polynomials, Hermite, Laguerre, Charlier, Mexner, Krachtchuk, Mexner 1, Mexner 2, Chebyshev, Jacobi, Hahn. So we interpret all the combinatorial theory of orthogonal polynomial was behind this tableau, but we never dream. We dream of getting to the top level of the tableau, which is a general Askey-Wilson polynomial. And now the surprise is that we are able to do the combinatorics of this polynomial. So there will be a chapter, maybe chapter 5 in this course, about the relationship between PASEP and orthogonal polynomial, and explaining all this. So this tableau, which is sometimes called the ASCII tableau. So when you have here the most general classical orthogonal polynomial with 5 parameters, and you go from one class of polynomial to the other polynomial by maybe taking some limit, changing a little the parameter, making some limit, or canceling, putting to 0 or 1 of the parameters. And then you go down, you see Hahn, Jacobi, and Laguerre, Charlier, Hermite, and the number here, n factorial, Bell numbers, number involution with no fixed point, tangent number, secant number, number of order partition, Catalan number, 2 and 2n. All these numbers are the moments of the orthogonal polynomial. I will explain this in the class about relationship between orthogonal polynomial and PASEP and combinatorics. So we have a beautiful tableau, trilogy. There is a physics of the PASEP, there is a combinatorics of the PASEP, and there is orthogonal polynomial and the combinatorics of orthogonal polynomial. So it's a beautiful triangle, but there is connection everywhere. And I will start with a seminal paper on physics. So all this is based, there is a seminal paper by Derrida, Evans, Hakim, and Pasquier in 1993. And this seminal paper, they call this the matrix ansatz. So inspired by this matrix ansatz, I put the name cellular ansatz. It was an interpretation of the matrix ansatz in terms of a rewriting rule, quadratic algebra, all this. So I state the matrix ansatz. Suppose you have 2 matrices, D and E. If they are finite matrix, it's square matrix, but they may be infinite matrix. In general, there will be infinite matrix. So suppose you have two matrices D and E satisfying the following quadratic relation. DE equal QED plus E plus D. So here is a, you recognize this equation. It has been many times in chapter 1, chapter 2. It's a quadratic equation which defines a quadratic algebra, which I call the PASEP quadratic algebra. So suppose you find D and E usually infinite matrix. Suppose you have two vectors, a column vector V and a row vector W. Suppose you have two such vectors satisfying the following equation. So I adopt the quantum mechanics notation. So this is a matrix. And you multiply on the left by the column, by W, the row vector. This is, I like it, this notation. You start from W, you apply, if you think of this as operator, but here is just matrix. So this row vector, it's invariant by this multiplication, alpha E minus gamma D. And now you multiply by the column vector V. You multiply the column vector V by this matrix, and you get back the vector V. So suppose you have this. Just suppose you find, and in the paper by physicists about E and D, this matrix, were inspired from the orthogonal polynomial. There is a tridiagonal matrix associated to, there is a matrix associated to the orthogonal polynomial. They took this matrix and they show that this matrix satisfies this system of equation. So suppose you find this. There is not a unique solution for the TASEP, PASEP. There is some example where there is different solution. But if you find one solution, suppose you have D, E, V, and W, then you can compute the stationary probability of the system. So suppose you are in a certain state, tau equal tau 1 to etc. tau n. Tau I is 0 or 1, or 0 means empty cell, 1 means it's full. Then the stationary probability for this state, tau 1 to 2 to n, is equal to, I am going to define a certain function fn. It will be a certain function, but to get probability, then you have to define z. Zn is the sum of all the fn. It's just to make a normalization to get probability, like we have done with the TASEP. There was individual numbers, the number of pair of paths, and I have to divide by the Catalan number, which was the role of partition function. So this sum, Zn will be called the partition function. And so this probability, if I am going to give you an expression of fn, this function fn, and to get probability, I will divide by the sum of all possible fn, which will give me probability. The sum of all these vectors will be 1. And then I give you a formula for fn from the matrix D, E, and the vector V, W. So the formula is the following. Fn of T1 to n equals this. So what does it mean? So in the middle, you have a product of matrix. There is n matrix here in the middle. And the first one, second. So for each I between 1 and n, you take this matrix. So it depends on the state. If tau I is 1, you get the matrix D. And if tau I is 0, then you get the matrix E. So in fact, this is just a product. So you replace your state, tau 1 to 2 to n, by a word in E and D. E and D are infinite matrix. And this word, so you put E if it's the cell is, there is a particle in the cell, and you put a D if there is no particle. So to any state, you have a certain product of matrix. So this is a product associated to this state, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. So a product of matrix, and then you apply, on the left, you multiply by the row vector W. On the right, you multiply by the row vector V. So you get a certain numbers. This numbers is here. You divide this number by the sum of all the Fn, and you get exactly the stationary probability of the PASEP with 5 parameters. So as soon as I know, as soon as I have I have D, E, V, W satisfying this, then I can compute completely the stationary probability. So I will not prove this theorem, I will admit it. It's in the physics, the seminal paper is for the TASEP and the proof, and then it extended to the Q, and there is different proof of this, but if I want to go in the physics, then I will need to stay longer in India, and my vegetables are waiting for me in April, so I cannot. No, but you just admit this matrix on that. This is our starting point to do the combinatorics. All the combinatorial papers are based on this matrix on that. So the matrix on that, mainly we will do with 3 parameters, only Q, alpha, beta. So with only 3 parameters, gamma equal delta equal 0, then your system of equation becomes this. Usually it's written this way, in this particular case.
Where is Q in the other equation?
Where is Q? It was in the, here.
Or only
in the, here, only here,
only
yes. The Q is in the parameter alpha, beta, gamma, delta is like a border condition. So it's, this is this 2 special equation. The general equation, this is border condition. So all the, anyway, the parameter. So here it's just a Q, which is, so if you put Q equals 0, the TASEP, then you have DE equal E plus D. For general Q, then you have this quadratic PASEP algebra. This is border condition. So in this chapter, we'll mainly be with 3 parameters. This is the main, with putting go to gamma delta is an extension of the combinatorics with 3 parameters. So the system of equation becomes this. And usually they write the probability in the side. So beta bar, alpha bar is denoted the inverse of alpha and beta. So in that case, the cellular on that, the matrix on that becomes this. You have to find 2 matrices D and E, 2 vectors V and W satisfying this system of equation. And then you see this, the inverse of the parameters alpha, beta are coming in the picture. So we'll do this. We will do also the very interesting special case with Q equals 0 and 2 parameters alpha, beta. So this is the general TASEP with alpha and beta. We will show that if alpha equal beta equal 1, it's a Catalan number. So we are in the Catalan garden here. So I give you an example of the TASEP with alpha and beta. So here are 2 possible matrices, D and E, you see, with 2 possible vectors V and W. See, there are infinite matrices. This matrix is 0 everywhere except some parameter above the diagonal. And this matrix is it's an upper triangular matrix. It's zero everywhere above the diagonal, but here there is some, it's full of parameters. So this is one possible example. There is something else?
Is it inverse letter?
Inverse letter? Huh?
No.
No, it's matrix. Oh, you should D and E, but you should, this would be infinite matrix, yes.
The one is strictly above the diagonal.
Oh, yeah, no, I am wrong, yes. Yes, the one is strictly above the diagonal. Yeah. So diagonal is a...
And the diagonal is alpha, no, what is the diagonal of this?
No, I think 1 is a diagonal, I think. No, 1 is a diagonal, yes.
Okay.
So this is 2 examples. I have 3 examples of D and E. So this is the second example. So 1 are above diagonal, and here maybe it's beta bar 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. In fact, I don't remember very well. So I think maybe this one the first term, and then 1, 1, 1 everywhere. Yeah. So this is the second example. And then the third example, so this is a minute. So now it's what is called tridiagonal matrix. So there is a diagonal, and above diagonal another line. Everywhere else 0. Here there is a diagonal, alpha bar 1, 1, 1, 1, and kappa, and there is a kappa here, everywhere, and 0 below. And kappa is related to alpha and beta by this relation. So you see, there is 3 possible examples. And there is 3 combinatorial interpretation behind this, which are equivalent. So there is, you see, you feel there must be a whole world of bijection behind all this with a different. So this matrix comes from the physicist. And then if you interpret them combinatorially, then we get some bijection. We have to understand all the jungle of combinatorics behind it. So now if you admit the matrix on that, using the philosophy of the cellular on that, you can immediately an expression for the stationary probability. So we have seen many times in chapter 1, chapter 2, the PASEP algebra. And we associate with this quadratic algebra some complete Q-tableau, some Q-tableau. So I just remind you the PASEP algebra, this is an homogenization of the quadratic algebra with 4 operators, vertical identity and horizontal identity. There is, and then this is the planarization. This is a rewriting rule. With the planarization of this rewriting rule, you can replace D by QED plus E plus D. And so you get this 3 possible cases. I put some label. And I is identity operator, horizontal or vertical. And then I have to add some new equation to get this trivial equation with vertical identity and horizontal identity. So this was in chapter 1 and 2 as an example of a. And then from this you get what we have defined the complete Q-tableau. It's each cell is labeled by one of the rewriting rule, which means each cell is labeled by one of the terms of this 4 equation. So there is 6 terms, 6 possible labels, which are the blue, the red, the yellow, and then there is a brown line cutting the cell, or horizontal, vertical, or a cross. So this is the 3 possible involving the identity operator. I is identity, and then this is the 3 possible label from the first equation. And we need to have a Q-tableau. We need 3 labels, at least 3 labels. So we define the Q-tableau. If you go back to the chapter 2, Q-tableau, you reduce the number of labels, color. There is 6 labels. I reduce them to 3. So there is this label is blue. This term corresponds to blue. This term corresponds to red. And this 4 term corresponds to empty cell. And I cannot do better. I need 3 labels. So this is, we call this a Q-tableau. And Q-tableau, see, we define Q-tableau from a reduction of the set of labels which must satisfy the condition star. And there was the bijection between Q-tableau and complete Q-tableau. So this is ingredient to go back to the PASEP. So we have defined already, I just repeat the definition. Alternative tableau, it's a Ferrer diagram, such that in extended Ferrer means that maybe some column or some row are empty. So it's just 2 paths. You have 1 path like this, which is a hook, and then you have a path going east or down, and here you see there is an empty column. So it's just a trivial extension of partition of an integer. N will be the total number of rows in column. So N will be the length of this path on the northeast border, on the southwest border, and definition of an alternative tableau. We already defined, but it's good to repeat the definition. It's a coloring of the cell of the Ferrer, extended Ferrer, with blue and red colors, and with the condition that if you have a blue cell, there is no color cell at the left of the blue cell, and if you have a red cell, there is no color cell below the red cell. So it means if you take the blue, see, go to the left, there is nobody in color. If you take the red and go down, there is nobody below. So this is an example of an alternative tableau. And how do you construct the complete alternative tableau? It's in bijection, we know from the general theory. So you just take the blue cell, and at the left, you put a brown line, all the cells which are at the left of the blue. Below a red, it's all the cells which are below the red. This is the propagation of the identity operator in the planarization of the rewriting rule. And then what remains, there is some cells which are still have nothing as labels, and you put that in yellow. This will be the Q analog. This will be the Q of the PASEP. And then you can reconstruct the what the word UV you get at the end of the rewriting rule. The word W is always supposed to be D, 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 E, E, D, 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 E. You just follow the border of the northeast border and you get the word W. And the word UV is you put an E. Each time there is no blue cell in this row, there's no blue cell, then you put E. Each time there is no blue cell in the column, you, like this, you put a D. No, each time there is no red cell in the column, you put a D. And so here is a bigger example, which is, so this alternative tableau, this complete alternative tableau, you see, it's the weight of this tableau is going to be Q power 8. Q is a number of cell, of yellow cell. We will call this crossing. K of t is a number of cells with this. You see here, E power 5 is D power 4. If you start from this word W, you start from this word here. And doing the rewriting rule, you have a big, big polynomial. And this alternative tableau will be a contribution with the weight Q power 8, E power 5, D power 4, will be a contribution to the big polynomial in the normal ordering, in the analog of the normal ordering. When you expand this word W, this is a big word you get from the northeast border, you expand it as a sum of monomial like this. And this sum will be, this tableau will contribute to the coefficient of this monomial. At the end of the rewriting, you get here E power 5. So E, there is an E for each row with no blue cell. Some people, no blue cell in each row. So this is sometimes called open row, no blue cell in the row. The D, when there is no red cell, this is sometimes called also open column. So here there is no red cell in the column, no blue cell in the row, number of cells like this. So you have three parameters, K, I, and J. And then you can state that from the general chapter 1, chapter 2, that if you take any word in E and D, it can be uniquely rewritten as a sum of monomial. The sum is over all alternative tableau, T, with these three parameters, K of T, I of T, J of T. So this is the reminding of the general theory with normal ordering for general quadratic algebra. This is a special case of the PASEP algebra. It's the sum over all complete tableau, but complete tableau are in bijection with alternative tableau, and I have these three parameters. And what is the profile? The profile W of alternative tableau is just the word you read by reading the northeast border, a D when you go east, and E where you go down. So this is just a reminding of the general theory in the case of the PASEP algebra, alternative tableau, and the three parameters to define this polynomial here.
Are these coefficients powers kt, as in the sum kt, it, and jt, is it equal to the length of the, or is it related to the length of the word w to begin with?
No, it's
You start with.
no, because well, there is a here there is you are losing some, the sum of the degree of this monomial can be less. It can be constant time. You cannot have if you have no color cell, then you will have E, the number of rows without blue cell. So E will be total number of rows. So then we'll have the maximum possible of E and D. So the number of E and D, the total number will be the length of the size of the alternative tableau. But then as soon as you color some cell, some blue and red, then you will decrease this monomial. Will decrease. It cannot be the constant term. You cannot put as many blue and red you want. There is a limit to the total number of blue and red. But so there is not too much relation. It's between all these coefficients and the length. Okay, now I claim that from the matrix on that, combining with this proposition, the normal ordering for the quadratic algebra, I claim that I get immediately the stationary probability of the PASEP. So proof the stationary probability of the PASEP. PASEP with three parameters, Q, alpha, beta. So let's take a state like this. So to this state is you associate a Ferrer diagram the profile of the Ferrari diagram is this word. So you suppose you get E and D. You don't need to. But I suppose there exists E and D satisfying the matrix on that. So this is expansion of the word W in this monomial, and then apply. See, if you apply the general theorem, if you apply, you have to apply to the, you have to multiply from this. If you go back to the matrix on that, this is a product of matrix. You have to multiply these products on the left by W and multiply on the right by V. So you have to multiply by W and V this big polynomial. So it's equivalent to multiply. Let's check each monomial. So this is going to be the sum of all this over all monomial EI dj. And now if I multiply W by E power I, then this gives me exactly the inverse of alpha power I because of this relation. If you apply this relation many times, then the E will disappear. In fact, the E power I will be replaced by inverse of alpha power I. And dually, if you multiply the V by D on the right, so all the D are going to disappear and get this. At the end, you get this, which I can suppose to be 1. Or if you are not satisfied, why you put 1. Then because I'm going to take the ratio of Fn of T1, T2, Tn divided by the partition function, so this term will cancel. So what will remain is this. And so you see, it's, from this theorem and the matrix on that, I get immediately the expression for the stationary probability. The stationary probability with the 3-parameter Q alpha beta is exactly the same sum as before, a sum over all alternative tableau of profile given by the state tau, and exactly a sum over all possible monomial, and you replace the E power, there was the E and the D monomial in the formal variable E and D, and you replace them by the probability to get inside the strip, to get outside with minus, with inverse probability. And then the Q, the power of Q will be exactly the number of cells, the yellow cell, and I will use the term crossing cell because it's related to some crossing.
So for this, you need the matrix.
Yes, I need, of course. No, it's possible to prove it without it, but you have the. Yeah, there is a thesis by Prachy, Laborde, Zubieta in Bordeaux. He just finished his thesis, and you have a direct, nice way to go directly without with interpreting matrix on that. So it's possible.
But the quadratic ansatz does not involve, cellular ansatz does not imply any matrix.
No, here it's a cellular ansatz. It's just formally, I do the D and the E. For me, it's not matrix, it's just formal variable. Yeah. And I apply, if I suppose it exists, but if you, so it should be possible to have a proof without using the matrix on that. But
if you don't have a proof, then it would generalize to many things.
Yes, it's
derived matrix ansatz.
Basically, there exists a representation.
Yeah. Yes. But but there is some proof we will see, because we are going to see that the number. But there is some proof by Cortel and Lorraine Williams, where in fact the Markov chain, we will see that alternative tableaux are counted by permutation. In fact, you can, the Markov chain on defining the PASEP, you can, is a projection of another Markov chain on the permutation, direct Markov chain on the tableau, which project on the Markov chain of the PASEP. So in fact, you can do everything combinatorially. But here we are, we do the easy part. I don't want to be too technical, but the easy part is to admit the matrix on that, to replace DNE by formal variable and apply the normal ordering, apply the Q tableau, complete Q tableau, all the machinery, which is everywhere. You would just put some term in some very well-known things. I call this cellular ansatz to make, but it's inspiring by the matrix on that, to put a term in, because when you go to alternating sign matrices, FPL, etc., so this is completely different from the PASEP, but it's maybe good for me. I like it to put everything in the same formal language and to go back and forth under this roof.
But to get gamma and delta back, you need to
Yes, it's more complicated. There is a generalization given by Cortel and Sylvie Cortel and Lauren Williams. There is an extension of this. So in fact, this is not the first combinatorial interpretation of statistical probability. The first one was given by Cortel and Lauren Williams in terms of permutation tableau. So this was done in a series of papers, 2008, 2009. So it was given in terms of permutation tableau. So next time I will, we already introduced permutation tableau. So this tableau is the filling of the Ferrer with only empty cell and black dot with certain condition. But the condition to define permutation tableau is not symmetric in row and column. And we will see that permutation tableau are not a Q tableau, and it's not a reverse Q tableau. Q tableau is alternative tableau, reverse is a tree-like tableau, and permutation tableau they don't belong to any of the two classes. But they are in bijection with alternative tableau. So it's something more complicated, dissymmetric in row and column. So this is why in 2008, I introduced the alternative tableau, because for me it's working with a try of a cellular ansatz, generalization, rewriting. So naturally the alternative tableau come, and it's totally symmetric in row and column. And so the extension to gamma and delta, you can do with permutation tableau, but it's much more beautiful and easier to do it with permutation tableau. So it's an extension of, and here is a definition of permutation tableau. I already showed this in the previous lecture. It's, you have a Ferrer diagram, and it's a filling of the Ferrer diagram satisfying the two conditions. First condition, there is, in each column, there is at least one black dot. In the paper about this, I call this empty cell 0. When there is a black dot, you put a 1. So there is at least one or one black dot in each column. And then this pattern is forbidden. So it's two conditions. And this pattern came from, it was from algebraic geometry. Postnikov introduced a totally non-negative part of the Grassmannian. So it is very deep study, very interesting study. So Postnikov introduced this, and this totally part are in bijection with what he called Lie diagram. A Lie diagram is only the second part. So if you just take the second, this forbidden pattern, you get something more general than permutation. You get something which you take a permutation with some fixed point, and you put two colors on the fixed point. So it's just color permutation. You can blue and red the fixed point, and then this color permutation are in bijection with this Lie diagram. And putting the condition 1 means all the fixed points will be blue, so you get permutation. And so this is also very interesting. So Lauren Williams was working on this totally positive cell of the Grassmannian. I don't define this, but some specialists in the room know very well what it is. And then starting from this, so with Stamm-Grinson, they get a bijection. They were interested to get a bijection between permutation and permutation tableau. And then they realized with Sylvie Cortel that this was the key to interpret the stationary probability of the PASEP. This was the key to get this interpretation. So it was starting from algebraic geometry, then going to permutation tableau, and then changing the definition into symmetric alternative tableau, and then tree-like tableau appear, and then staircase tableau. So there is in fact 4 possible tableaux for the PASEP. All are in bijection each other, and in the next lecture I will show you the 4 kind of tableau, the 4 and the bijection, and each of these 4 tableaux have a Catalan version for the TASEP, so there will be 4 Catalan tableaux also. So now enumeration of alternative tableau. So what is amazing, which is not obvious from the definition of the alternative tableau, the total number of alternative tableau of size n. The size means the length of the path, starting from this corner and going down until this corner. The length is, the size is the total number of columns, including empty column, total number of rows, including empty row. And then the surprise is that the number of alternative tableau of size n is n plus 1 factorial. So very beautiful. So we are in the garden of permutation. This is classical. So this is open a new garden. 15 years ago, the permutation tableau it was studied by Postnikov, Steingrimson, Lorraine Williams. It was new. They introduced new bijection between this and permutation. It was not obvious. And then a lot of combinatorics came, and then now there's about 50, 60 papers. And for example, Sylvie Cortel alone, she has 25 papers, more than 20 papers about the combinatorics of all this and related to orthogonal polynomial. And when I say Sylvie Cortel alone, with some co-author, it's but there is many, many papers. I will give a list of all these papers in the website of the class when I will do the other part, special page for references of all of chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. So here is the example of the 6 permutation, the 6 alternative tableau for n equal 2. There is, the length of the path is 2, and n plus 1 is, factorial n plus 1 is factorial is 6. So here the 6 tableau, and here the 24 tableau with n equals 3. So you see, it's not obvious to see that this, when you go from the 6 tableau, there is 4 possible ways to insert a new cell, which gives you the 24. From this to this, the recurrence relation of n plus 1 factorial, it's, and there is a bijection. I will show you next time this bijection between this and this, where inserting a new column or a new row in the Ferret diagram so that it's a bijection, that this is in bijection. You choose one of these, you choose an index between 1 and 4, and this must be bijectively one of these. It's not obvious. So in fact, in the course, I will give you 2 bijections. One coming from this interpretation by just adding n factorial is n minus 1 factorial multiplied by n. And the second bijection, the other bijection, will come from a representation of the quadratic algebra and the spirit of the RSK representation of the quadratic algebra, UD minus DU equal D, the very Heisenberg algebra for RSK. But before going to the bijection, I will, in chapter 3, I will prove that, in fact, when you have no cell like this, no yellow cell, then the number of such tableaux will be exactly the Catalan number. So I'll prove this. There will be a whole chapter on this. Bijection, there will be many bijections between this and Catalan numbers. Bijection with trees, bijection with pair of paths, bijection with triangulation. There is many papers on this Catalan garden. So I just, so this is a TASEP with Q equals 0 and 2 parameter alpha beta. So this will be for chapter 3. But now I will concentrate on the general case with n factorial. So in fact, there is 2 bijections. I will give you in this class 2 bijections. So the first bijection will be from a combinatorial representation of the PASEP algebra in the spirit of the combinatorial representation which is the RSK with the operator U and D adding or deleting a cell in the Ferret diagram with local rule, forming local rule. So we'll have the analog of forming local rule. And this bijection will be equivalent up to some symmetry. You have to change symmetry. And in fact, in 2007, in 2005, before, in 2005, there was the first bijection appearing between permutation. It was, at that time, alternative tableau was not introduced. So the first bijection was with permutation tableau. And Steingrimson, Williamson, they give some bijection inspired from Postnikov bijection. I will show you the Postnikov bijection, which is a pipe dream. This is a kind of associated pipe dream to a color permutation. So inspired from the Postnikov bijection, they give some bijection between permutation tableau, and then Cortel and Nadeau gives other more simple bijection, simplified bijection. And then I realized that this bijection I'm going to show you, if you translate the bijection, permutation tableau to permutation, if you translate it, because there is a bijection, permutation tableau, alternative tableau, if you translate this bijection, you do some symmetry, then this bijection I'm going to show is equivalent to this one. No, trees, it's something else. This bijection I'm going to show, there is no trees. So I can say that this bijection in different form, I call this a canonical bijection. Like the RSK. RSK can be defined in 4 or 5 different forms, and I call this canonical because it's come from the general algebraic principle. It's come from the representation And it will be the same with the PASEP algebra. There is different way to define the bijection I am going to show you. And each time it's some different way gives the same equivalent bijection. It's because it's come from this general principle to associate a bijection from the representation, local rule, and you get the... So it's a general technique which gives you some bijection, because sometimes bijection are just ad hoc bijection. You construct it, it works only for this. Here it's from a more general principle. Representation of an algebra, and then local rule, and then propagation of local rule in the grid. So you get some kind of a natural or canonical bijection. And I will explain in another lecture. There is a direct bijection. Direct means that to prove that the number of alternative tableaux is n+1 factorial, you have to find a bijection between tableau of size n+1 and a pair of tableaux of size n and an index I between 1 and n+1. And this direct bijection is with tree-like tableau. So it's with reciprocal tableau, reciprocal of the alternative tableau. And this has been given by Yaval, Boucicault, Nadeau in 2011. So it's a very also nice bijection. So I will give you the two bijection. And I will start with, we are in the cellular ansatz philosophy, so I will start with this bijection. And so the cellular ansatz philosophy, this is the whole tableau. So we have done this level of RSK, local rule, with, and now we are going to do this level. So I am going to define an exchange fusion algorithm. And here, what is the representation of the quadratic algebra? We are going to go through orthogonal polynomial, data structure in computer science, and what is called Laguerre history, which I define, I will recall you the bijection, permutation, Laguerre history. So there is a whole new world which are different from the Young tableau. So I will just give you the idea of the representation and then go to define the bijection at the end. So the idea, we go back to the proof of the RSK, where we were working with the Weil-Heisenberg algebra. So there was two operators, which were I represent A and S, you see, and these two, this was not the representation with a Young tableau, with adding a cell or deleting a cell in a Ferret diagram. It was a representation more simple. There was another representation where Polya urn. So you have a bag of a lot of ball inside, and you had sometimes there is many color in the ball. So you are taking by random a ball from the bag. So here all the ball are black colors. So taking a ball by random, then the number of ball. This is the state of the bag. There is k ball. So when you pick up by random one, the number of ball will be k-1, and there is k possible choice to do this. So I adopt the quantum mechanics notation. It's like an operator. So we have a Hilbert vector space. The basis is all the integer, and applying the operator S on this basis on the integer k give you k-1 and multiplied by k. This means a k possibility to delete, to take a ball from the Polya urn. And if you add a new ball, then you will mix with all the other balls. So adding a new ball will give you going from the state k to the state k+1 with only one possibility. This is the one here. And if you look carefully, this satisfies this same relation as the Weil-Heisenberg algebra. And it was an exercise, or it was in the class, to show that if I apply the cellular ansatz philosophy, this gives me back with local rule in the same philosophy as forming local rule. This gives you back a coding of the permutation with what is called an inversion table of the permutation. And there was an exercise where you have the priority queue. So it's different. This comes from computer science background. Priority queue, we are in the data structure. So all this are something in the computer. It's some data structure. I mean, you have a list of people, and the list is totally ordered. This is the first element of the list, second element, etc. And priority queue means you can add anybody in the data structure. So when you add it, it's located somewhere in one of the intervals. Because all the algorithm in computer science, you have to compare. Each of this is called a key. It's a numbers. Each element in the data structure is encoded by your numbers, all distinct numbers. And when you do the algorithm, what is important is only the the relative order between two keys, if it's bigger or lower. You don't need to have the exact value if you just do algorithm comparing the key. So what is important is just to know where the key, the new element in the data structure, is it between this one and this one, or is it here, or here, is it on the left? So the number of ways to add a new element in your priority queue is exactly, you go from the state k to the state k plus 1, and there's k plus 1 way to add a new element. Number of ways to cancel, to delete an element in the data structure is this is only one element, you delete the minimum. And this is well known in computer science. It's a data structure priority queue. So when you have a data of many people, you can encode this by some key. Each key is a numbers, and you can add or delete. You can add anywhere a new element. But when you delete, priority queue means everybody is queuing at the line, and the line is a priority to the minimum element. Or the maximum if you get some rich people and money, the priority queue is it depends.
Go back to the previous one.
So the Polya is different. You add in only one way, and you delete in k different any k.
It's a dual, yeah.
Yes, you are anticipating on the next slide. It's kind of dual, you see, because both of them give this interpretation. Both of them will give, if I do apply the cellular philosophy, you will get another inversion table. This was an exercise. This is the same picture, but changing row and column. This is dual, and the duality is the following. So here is a Polya urn. You say, suppose you start with an empty bag, and you add a ball, a second ball, third ball, the height of this path will give you the number of balls, and suppose you go back to the origins, that means at the end, the bag is empty. So you start from an empty data structure, or empty bag of ball, and then you finish empty. So you get, each time you add a new ball, you increase by 1 or you decrease by 1, so you go northeast or southeast. So the history, we call it the history, the sequence of all state of the bag will be encoded by what is called a dig path. A dig path is a path, everybody knows a dig path. What is a dig path? I just repeat definition. It's a path, you start from 0 level, you are always above the 0 level, and at each elementary step, you go to the northeast, to the next neighbor, or you go to the southeast. Always you are above the ground level, the sea level, and you start from 0 level and you finish at 0 level. So this is a dig path, and this is a weighted dig path. I put in bronze, and it's not only the dig path, but it's the number of ways to go down. When you go down, it's a number of ways to choose a ball. So here there is 3 balls, so there is 3, 2, 2, 1. And I did not put number on the going up because it's 1. So this is the Polya urn. You see, it's a weighted dig path. And the sum of all these weighted dig paths will be the number of evolution with no fixed point. And this is related to the chapter 1 with oscillating tableau. Oscillating tableau was in bijection with involution with no fixed point, because it introduced the concept of Hermite history. And Hermite history is related to this. Because each time you go down, you choose one of the 3 balls, but the history means I remember which ball I took. First one, second ball, or third ball. So if you plus this, if you add, you remember which ball you took, then I call this an history, the total history of what you have done. It's in bijection with involution with no fixed point. This is called Hermite history, and this was done in the oscillating tableau in chapter 1. And I will redo this when the relationship with orthogonal polynomial, because the total sum of history will be the moment of the Hermite polynomial. So we'll do this in another chapter. Going back to priority queue, so this is this, and you see that one is dual of the other because each northeast step is related to a southeast step. You can associate to, here is the association, you see, in purple, each northeast step is associated to a southeast step in a unique way, in a dig path. And
that is the physics normalization.
And now this is the physics, yes. Because what you see is the square root. So this is the physics, boson, and this is the physics in quantum mechanics. You have 2 operators, annihilation operator or creation of particle, and curiously they put this way. This is what they call the Hilbert space. So it's the basis of the Fock space also, it's called. It's a Hilbert space where the basis is integer. That has the state of the number of particles. And when you delete here, you delete a particle. So n is k in the previous slide. So you delete a particle, and the number of ways to delete is the square root of n. So this is physics. It's no more combinatorics. But the number of ways to add a particle is square root of n plus 1. So if you put all this weight, square root in blue, square root in red, then you get back, putting all the blue and the red together, then you get back exactly. So you get back exactly this. If you look at Polya-Urn, or if you look at priority queue, so this is the same thing. All this is more or less the same thing. So you see in quantum mechanics. So what is good in quantum mechanics is that there is one more operator. So operator n, usually, n is this product of two operators. You create, so you delete a particle and you create one. I read the operator from right to left. Physicists go from left to right. But then this operator, when you apply to n, is give back n in n different ways. So this is inspiration to have a representation of the PASEP algebra. But this is not enough. I need more, and I need another operator. So there is three operators, adding, deleting, and then you are counting how many elements in your file. And this is a dictionary data structure. Dictionary data structure. You can add any element anywhere, delete any element anywhere. You can ask question. Is somebody in your file? But there is one more operator in data structure. So now we have a little sample of computer science. So you see data structure, we have seen priority queue. There is more general data structure. And we have seen the concept of history. For example, for the Polya-Urn or priority queue, you say history, you have the sequence of primitive operation. You can add, delete, or ask a question, how many elements in your data. But history means if you delete an element or add a new element, you have to, there is a different possibility. There is a certain number of choice, but you are going to give a precise, what is the choice you have chosen? So you can number the choice from left to right or right to left. Okay, I have chosen choice number I. Or when I delete a ball, there is 3 balls, I have chosen 1, 2, or 3. So the combination, the pair of the sequence of a primitive operator, which is here the dig pass, plus which choice did you took, this is the history, total history. And then in computer science, you want to know where there is different primitive operation. You want to know the average cost. And so this was introduced, notion of history by Françon in 1976. And then average cost was a very beautiful theory to compute the average cost of the total of a random sequence of primitive operation when you know the average cost for each individual operation. And usually it's possible to do this computation. It involves orthogonal polynomial. To each data structure, there is an orthogonal polynomial. And the computation, complete computation can be done with some coefficients which are related to orthogonal polynomial and quantum fraction. So this is another completely different story, but we get this inspiration. So let's take the data structure which is related to Polya-Urn, priority queue, or the counting numbers in quantum mechanics. So here I am going to add or delete any element. So when you add an element, if you have k elements, there is k plus 1 way to add a new element. If you have k elements, there is k possible way to delete it. So I am combining Polya-Urn and priority queue, and then now I am combining the operator in quantum physics, counting how many elements you have in your file. So I am asking a question, which is Amri in your file? Yes. But if Suresh in your file, no. He is in IIT, he's not in IMSC. And so negative answer. So here is a positive answer, but there is also a negative answer where, so there is a new operator K. When you ask a question, no, he is not in the file. And the combination of these 4 operation is called the dictionary data structure. You can add any element. So you can delete any element. You can add any element everywhere. You can ask question, positive answer, and negative answer. So when it's negative, you add the new element in your data structure. So this is called dictionary data structure. It's really, you can do this with, you can do this with binary tree. So this is very, very classical. And then, so the adding, when you have k element, I go back to the notation of quantum mechanics. When you have k element, this gives you k plus 1 element with k plus 1 choice. if you have k element, when you delete, this give back k minus 1 with k possible choice. And then there is two possible questions, j and k. So I don't know if there are an analog in quantum mechanics. Suresh, is this analog of k? The operator k would say, oh, this particle is not, or maybe it's an anti-particle, or I don't know. There is a whole, no, so now in computer science, we have a complete analog. And you see, when you do the complete thing, there is no square root. Quantum mechanics is just when one of this is a trivial operator with one possibility. When you combine polyiron and priority Q, then you have more operation. This is when I combine with positive and negative and so on. So there is a kind of symmetry, everything. Now, so J.
It's not because J will annihilate 0.
What is the question? Is J? No, it's another operator. It's a K. When you apply K to the state
0.
K. No, if there is no element, then if there is nobody, then K will give 1. Huh? The empty, if K equals 0, then this will give go back to 0. And this will be with one possibility. If you have the empty data structure, K can act. K of 0. If small k is 0, the new data, so this gives you the state again 0 with only one possibility. You're asking if, are you in the data structure? There's nobody.
J minus k is a projection operator. It projects to 0 on all other states. Except that.
So see, this notation is, this means this is a state. The state is positive integer. It can be 0. So this is a possible state. And the operator is acting on the state. It's a physics notation. So the vector space is the basis is all the positive or 0 integer. And when you have this operator acting on this state k plus 1, give you this vector k plus 1 multiplied by the scalar k plus 1. It's a basis of this what is called the Fock space in quantum mechanics. Here I have a bigger space. Bigger, no, it's the same. It's all the state are the vector. The basis of this state is all the positive or 0 integer. And I have 4 operators acting on this vector space. So I can define the action by acting on the basis of the vector is all possible integer. So I gave the action of the A, S, J, and K on this basis. For each vector k minus 1, k plus 1, or k and k, I give what is a new vector here. K become k minus 1, k become k plus 1, and here k, in the two cases, remain k, and in front of this, there is a certain coefficient. Coefficient can be k plus 1, k, or k, and k plus 1.
So
and k
minus j is just identity on all k's.
Here?
K minus j.
Oh, k minus j? Yes.
It will map every vector to itself.
Yes.
Except
Yes.
0.
Yes.
That's what I'm
Yes.
0 is doing something funny, right? J annihilates 0.
J annihilates, but k will
K
send
will-
it to itself.
Mhm.
It's still identity.
So k, yes, the 0 is you have to take care of the 0, yes.
So
But we will see there is some relation between A, S, J, and K. So I want to finish this class up by give you the fundamental relation. Just think of this. And now let's define D equal A plus K. E equal S plus J. I claim that DE equal ED plus E plus D. I claim that this gives me a representation, a commutative representation of the PASEP algebra. So see, it's a kind of extension of the representation with the Weil-Heisenberg algebra, with more operator, and this gives me the PASEP algebra. And then so I have to define local rule. So what is the analog of the Faraday diagram when I add a cell in the row number I? So I have defined local rule on this object. And such object, you see, it's a second, it's not only integer k. it's a sequence of ball, black dots, totally ordered, and between them there is some interval, the green interval. So instead of Ferrer diagram with local rule, I will have this picture. It's a sequence of green, black, green, black, green, black, green, black, etc. So it's a word in 2 letters which alternate in interval green and a black dot. So it's just an alternating word. So this will be the analog of the Ferrer diagram. It will be all this picture. And then instead of adding a cell at level I will apply one of these operators, sometime on the black dot or sometime on a green interval. So I will get local rule, which will explain this relation. So the same philosophy. The propagation of there will be some bijection to explain in a single cell why this relation is true for these 4 possible diagrams. Propagation in the grid. So it's going to be a little complicated. And what you get is this kind of picture. You start from a permutation which is above, and you get an alternative tableau or conversely. So this is analog of local rule. So this seems to be very complicated. But I will show, instead of explaining this, there is a direct bijection, a very simple, nice bijection, which is the same as I explained here, but rewriting. This is the general philosophy, which give you, from the representation, give you some local rule and complicated things. So this is very analog to RSK. But from this, we can completely simplify the bijection. And next time, I will show you the simple bijection, which results from this representation, which I call the exchange fusion algorithm. So from a permutation, you can easily find an additive tableau, and which come from the representation. But you don't need, once you have erased everything, all the ugly things of the local rule, you have a nice bijection, which is the same, equivalent to the bijection of Cortel and Nadeau with the permutation tableau. Okay, so thank you very much.